Hello, everybody, and happy Memorial Day. If you are listening live, we are so grateful for you, for your families, for all who have served in our world. And today we are in for a special treat. So, whether you're on vacay or traveling or not even celebrating, but just celebrating here with us, I hope you have a wonderful start to your week with this extra special podcast. We are interviewing Kate Hallock. She is taking us through her delightful book, 9 Ways to Die, an Enneagram murder mystery, you guys. We have talked so many times about murder mysteries on this podcast because Wes and I write mystery dinner games. So we have brought the forces together. The worlds have collided, and Kate and I are doing a fun episode together where we're doing a giveaway for you guys. So today, before I bring Kate on, I want you to know that you've got to be thinking about her type and her hubby's type so you can make some guesses. And for the winner, we are going to offer you a copy of her book, and the 9 Ways to Die, as well as one of our mystery dinner games by Supper Sleuth, so that you guys can have fun this summer and just plan, or if you're listening later, just have fun with us. You don't have to worry about the contest. But either way, Kate's book is in the show notes. I loved reading it. It is just epic. And you know, it takes a lot for me to say that about a fiction title because I am so literally picky about my fiction titles. If it's not Tolkien or Jane Austen, it's going to be hard as like maybe a childhood favorite, but like it's always a hard sell. And like I was in for the long haul with this book. So I was really grateful. I am always grateful when something gets me out of my head and just into fun spaces in my seven world. And Kate did that here. So I had to make sure we got to showcase her. And I'm so glad you're here for this fun ride. So make sure you head over to the show notes and follow both our accounts and share your guests if you want to be part of the giveaway. And then we'll leave links to the book and also our mystery dinner games in the show notes as well, in case you're just like, I just want to have some fun and some summer reading. In this case, with Kate's book, you're in for such a treat. Other than that, make sure you stay tuned for next week. We have a huge announcement on the podcast, and I cannot wait to share it with you. But let's dive in together today into our wonderful time with Kate as we get to explore not only her and her hubby's types and how they met, but also about this mystery. How do you put an Enneagram typing mystery together? What goes into it? How can we learn from her about how she was able to do such a huge project and just get that motivation to do that? This is all wrapped up in today's extra fun episode for you. And you even get to do a bit of character typing as we share a little bit about the inside story around her book, too. So can't wait to dive in with you. Let's go ahead and do that together now. Kate, I am so happy to have you on the E&M pod. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
It has been a delight from your very first in crew with us to now to walk with you through your mystery book. Congratulations on your new book. Tell us about
Thank
yourself and your
you.
book.
I'm so excited about the book. It just came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's a murder mystery with
Yes.
a layer of the Enneagram. So there's 9 suspects, and each one is a different number on the Enneagram. So while you're trying to solve the murder, you're also trying to figure out who is which number and what is motivating them as a suspect in this murder mystery.
Oh my gosh, such a good idea. And everyone listening, most people know how much Wes and I are in our murder mystery mode all the time. So you guys know we're doing a contest with Kate too. So be listening for her type, her hubby's type. You guys are going to make a guess at this today. But your book is called 9 Ways to Die, right?
That's right. Yep. 9 Ways to Die.
We're sounding a little too eager about that, but
I know. I know.
but I love the title. Wes loved the title, my hubby, and he also loved your cover. So we'll make
Oh,
sure to
yeah.
link
Isn't
here
it
for you guys.
beautiful?
Yes. Do you have a copy nearby right now? If
Yeah,
you
I
do, would you mind?
do.
Okay,
I'll
yay. Then
show
we'll
it.
show it on YouTube.
Yay.
So
Um,
tell us
yeah,
about the
the
cover for those
publisher
not
designed
seeing.
it. They asked me a couple of questions about what I wanted, and then I kind of at the end of talking about it, I kind of said, I like purple, just if you care. And then they were like, we'll just make the whole book purple. So I love it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
tell our audio listeners a little bit about the cover as they're just such Enneagram folks. So I'd love for them.
Well, it's a brick building, so the murder takes place in a house, and so it's a house with 9 windows, and then each window has a different kind of, mode of murder in it. So the different 9 different ways to die, if you're studying them, you can figure out some of the ways
Mm.
that, one might murder someone.
So we can already get the sense that she's a fun type here, guys, because she thought of this book. She truly was able to masterfully examine all 9 types. Tell us more
Mhm.
about yourself. We'll dig into book questions too, but like, thank you for that. It's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I am a writer and an author. I live in Georgia, just outside Atlanta,
Mm.
and I have 3 daughters. And let's see, I went to Georgia Tech.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And also your hubby. I'm not going to share
Hmm.
his type. I know it. Tell us a little bit about him.
He also went to Georgia Tech. That's where we met, and he is an air traffic controller. I don't know if that hints at his type. Really, I guess it does to
Yeah.
some extent.
Yeah.
Um, More talking than maybe he would like to do in his field, but,
Mhm.
on topic, no chit chat, which is good for his type.
Yeah.
What else can I say? He's really into, like, video game race car things, so that's
Oh,
fun. I don't know
yes.
if that
Oh,
helps with his type.
yeah, I think it does. Now tell us more about what's his name? How did you guys
His
meet?
name is Adam. We met at Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
We were
Yeah.
both involved in, campus ministry there and,
Oh.
got married right out of college and kinda moved around the country a little bit for his job
Mhm.
and have settled back near home in Georgia, so we're all happy about that.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys got to settle. And one of my favorite things about reading Nine Ways to Die was that you incorporated local color. And I just so appreciated that because I know that eating at varsity and getting the orange drink, and I
Yeah.
really resonate. Like one of her main characters, Tara, gets a drink there, and I'm like, oh, I went there.
Yeah, I did. I tried to get a lot of the local places, Chick-fil-A and the
Yes.
Varsity, a few others, just to make it fun, and there aren't as many places, books, especially set in Georgia, so it's, fun to do something different than, New York and California, which we get a lot of.
That's a good point, and I bet you're really well read because of your field, and also I think your Enneagram type. Have you always loved books and reading and writing?
Yeah, I have always, been drawn to books and stories especially, so I really movies too, like, I just love a good story.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, it's books, movies, anything that's telling a beautiful story, I just love it. Yeah,
Aw,
absolutely.
I'm so glad, and I love that you and your hubby met through campus ministry and that you're now back, and at his roots and that you supported that journey, but that you even just as you're talking about that with, the local dialect and everything else that goes with the culture of, the Atlanta-ish area, I was thinking, there's some love that you have at least developed for it too. I can
Yes.
feel it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, no, I grew up here too, so we're both from Atlanta.
Oh,
Or
okay.
just outside, and,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah, I definitely love this city and love being here, and it's nice to be back after, and I think that maybe that points to my type a little bit that I went with him for his job kind of to a few different places before we ended up back here, so I think that that might be a
Oh.
little clue to my
Mhm.
number.
Yeah, very kind. I agree.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know this, my listeners have heard way too much about this, but I love Kennesaw Mountain up there
Okay, yeah,
near you
Kennesaw's
guys.
beautiful. Yes,
It's
I need to
so
put that on my
pretty.
summer list. We need to go
You
do
do.
that. Yes,
Mhm.
with my girls. It's been a
Oh,
while since I've been over there.
yes. We were talking about before we got on how we each have 3 kids in these crazy ages and how we're at the end of the years and we're tired, but we're happy
Yes.
to see them succeed. So that would be such a fun time for
Yes.
you all.
Yes, yes. Summer is almost here and we are ready for it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And we love reading here. Everybody who listens either loves obviously podcasting or reading, but tell us, usually both, what are some
Yeah.
of like the writers you could recommend to us in this mystery genre or just hero authors that you have that maybe are even outside of this genre?
Well, my mystery authors, that you have to read, of course, are Agatha
Oh.
Christie.
Oh,
If you
yes.
haven't read her, she's, the queen.
Yes.
And, Arthur Conan Doyle, who does all the Sherlock Holmes, so he's fantastic.
Mhm.
And a lot of his are, shorter, so I like that too, like, it's not a huge commitment. Somebody who I love that is more modern day, is Alan Bradley. He wrote a
Oh,
mystery. It's a
okay.
series, but the first one's called The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, and it's
Mm.
a really sweet, fun, murder mystery that the sleuth is like a 12-year-old girl who kind of has an attitude, and it's just a really fun murder mystery. But
Ooh.
s So those are some good mystery recommendations that I have, but as far as other authors, I really like, C.S. Lewis and George
Oh,
R.R. Martin
mm.
and, J.K. Rowling.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the
Fun.
classics, some of the, good
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah, I love it, and I don't know if listeners with certain types might even be like, "Ooh, I'm getting even more clues," as
That
to
might
her
be
type.
true.
That's true, I know that my husband's favorite author is C.S. Lewis, to where our son is named after him,
Oh, really?
yeah, Jack Lewis Harden,
Oh, I
but
love
we
that.
really love, just hearing your author picks because a couple of them George R. R. Martin, I don't know,
Uh-huh. Oh,
um
he is Game of Thrones. So
Oh,
you've
oh my
heard of his stuff.
gosh. I wanna, like, get into that series, but
The books are, I mean, we read all the books and then
oh, you
became obsessed
did?
with the show based on of the
Okay,
books. Yes, but the show
okay.
passed where the books are. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're hoping he'll catch up at some point and finish them.
Oh,
But it takes him like 20 years to write a book. So
I bet, I bet. Oh my
anyway,
gosh,
they're
the
really
page
fantastic, especially if you like
mhm.
huge worlds with lots of people and things going on.
Yeah, yep. Lord of the Rings is literally my
Yes, Lord of
treasure
the
trove. I'm
Rings.
in the series with
Yes.
my son again. We're just watching though. We've read it and
Yeah,
multiple times I have. And so I think our listeners are like, oh my gosh, these two ladies needed to meet. It was destiny. And not only that, but
exactly.
all of our listeners are here with us too, liking many of the things I'm sure that we've shared and sharing on their favorite books that we need to read. So please tell us too, guys. You can follow either of our accounts and tell us, like, yes,
Yes.
we want to know the good authors, like you're sifting out. And
Mhm.
so some of it will match with our families, and some of it won't. But like, I loved hearing those. I'm excited about all those books with you, and especially yours. Just knowing
Oh,
that
yeah.
you have put this and now I'm getting why your book was like for me a gripping page turner, which honestly I'm stuck in the classics and nonfiction, and so I wasn't expecting that, and it was really a fun read for me. I have to tell you, it was like such a page turner.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
Yes, it was fascinating, and then I told my son all about it, my daughter all about it, 6 he's a 6, she's a 9, and my husband all about it on, like, one of our date nights, and, we just had so much fun. My 4, I haven't told because she wants to read it herself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun book too for book clubs because of the
Mm,
ability to talk about the characters and who you think they are, and, like,
mhm.
it's fun to talk about. And, the people who I know personally who have read it, will always, like, text me and be like, "Oh my gosh, like, is so and so did this," or, "Tell me what's going on. Who's this number?" or whatever. Because they just are
Ooh.
so, they just are enjoying that piece of it so much.
Yeah, and I think that does also contribute is we've never seen an Enneagram murder mystery novel. So this
Yeah.
is a novel idea. Okay, that was way too corny. But tell me, tell us about just what made you inspired to write an Enneagram murder mystery novel in particular, and tell us a little bit about how you got started. And then, of course, I can't wait to dig into what it's actually about.
Well, I first of all got obsessed with the Enneagram. I just personality kind of types. I got involved in the temperaments, and I did it, and everybody was like, "No, you need to read the Enneagram." So I got real
Mhm.
involved in that, and I was just kind of obsessed with it. And I really was, which you're not supposed to do, but I was just typing everybody in my life,
Mhm. Yeah.
But I didn't always know if I was right or not. And in some cases, I thought they were something and they thought they were something else, and it was
Mm.
just like, but we'll never really get to the bottom of, like, who's right about this.
Mm.
That's making me sound like I'm not my type, but
Yeah, you're like, don't read too much into
don't
that
read too much
drama.
into that. But, anyway, so I just thought, well, it'd be fun if there was a book where at the end you could, like, guess, like,
Mm,
who's which number, and there would be like, a right or a wrong answer, and then I just thought that led really well to a murder mystery because you're, like, solving riddles
mhm.
and figuring it out, so I just layered those 2 things together and then just went went with it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow, that's a great idea, and I can hear the threads of, like, both Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and especially Agatha Christie now that you say that. The settings are so important, and, you
Mhm.
honored those predecessors who came before to give us a taste of mystery. You
Oh,
know,
well,
the
that's so
big
nice.
Oh, yeah, the big looming home that things take place in, as you mentioned earlier from the cover of the book, and,
Mhm.
the money and just all of it. So tell us a little bit about, just so our readers and listeners can get into, it with us, like, what is the setting? And tell us a bit about the storyline.
So, it's set in Atlanta, and it's a rich family. Well, there's kind of 2 parallel stories going on at the beginning. There's a girl, Tara, and her sister, her 11-year-old sister has gone missing, and she is kind of a hacker, and she is going after the truth, and she's trying to get to the bottom of it, and she is kind of doing some questionably legal things as far as, like, digging into some stuff online and trying to, help the police, and, of course, the detectives are like, "Chill out, we've got this." But
Mhm.
she's frustrated and wants to find her sister, so that's happening, and then kind of while she's investigating all of that, there is a murder of a kind of not nice person,
Mm,
and he has a family who he has treated poorly,
mm,
and they all kind of have a reason to want to kill him, and
mm,
so, he's dead, and so the detectives are trying to figure out who is, guilty and how does this connect because there's some connecting points to the missing girl and, trying to figure out how it all comes back, and are we gonna find the sister, and are we gonna figure out who the murderer is, and are all of our questions going to be answered?
yes. Yes, and that is the coolest thing, how the stories come together, because sometimes, that doesn't always happen, and you just have
Mhm.
sort of obtuse interests in diverse areas, and I loved how you had, "Oh, this comes together, and it makes sense, and, yet it's mysterious." So, maybe you could tell us about 1 or 2 of the characters and just, without us typing them, we can just get to
Right.
hear a couple of them, a little bit about them.
Well, how about we do, the man who dies, Michael Senior,
Mhm.
has 3 kids, so we'll just talk about those 3 because 'cause that'll
Okay,
be an easy
perfect.
place to start.
Yeah.
His oldest son is, Mike Jr.,
Mhm.
and he works for his father at his, like, capital investment firm, and, he wants to be a painter, but has kind of been forced into working for his dad and
Mhm.
going to business school even though he is a very gifted painter.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of part of the reason that he might, want his father out of the picture is because he wants to do what he wants with his life. And his brother is kind of similar in that
Mhm.
he does not like working in an office. He wants to be out in the world. He has his pilot's license and scuba certification, and he's kind of like a fun guy, and he does not like sitting in the office and doing numbers, which his father has put him in charge of. So
Mm,
he also is kind of, like, done with working for his dad. But
mm,
if they leave, he of course, they lose their inheritance, and,
mm,
that's a factor.
mhm,
And then their sister, who is between them, is, Addison, and she is going to medical school and wants to become a doctor, but, her father is making her kind of help him with some of his medical issues, and so she is also kind of trapped. She's not sure she's gonna be able to handle taking care of him and going to med school, and
mm.
so she's also all of them are kind of feeling trapped by his just make control over them,
Yeah.
but in
Oh,
different ways, kind of. Yeah.
yes, and each of them has an Enneagram type that at the end,
Yes.
which is so fun, you get to finish the book and hear and just have that satisfaction of like, "Ah, I needed to know and I got to know and it was a good one." And
Yeah.
then you get the fun of, "Hey, you read this book, come to your website and type the characters," which I found to be just such a thrill to do something different. I'm not used to that, so thank you for
Well, I wanted
providing that
people to
for
be able
us.
to get the answer, but not until they, had put their guesses in. So it's on the website. You can put your guess in. And as of now, nobody's gotten 100%. Somebody was really close. Somebody had
Ooh.
all but one and didn't get it. So anyway, there is a contest. So the winner's going to get a gift card of some description. But
Oh, that's great. Oh, I
so
love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's
That
fun. It's fun to see everybody's guesses and then you get the right answer once you put your guesses in.
Yes, and I was grateful to get all the right answers, and I was like, "I'm happy
Mhm,
I got some of them right," and the ones I didn't get right, I was like, "I can see that," like and that's always
mhm,
fun too, to be able to say, "No, I get it," and to go back and reread and review, so that's
mhm.
what I also loved about it.
Yeah, and I'm noticing a lot of patterns with numbers that generally get mixed up in
Right.
real life, and
Mm,
the same thing happening in the book. So there's a few characters that I'm like, "Oh, okay, a lot of people are thinking these 2 are
mm.
switched because these 2 types are very similar and get confused in real life too."
It's true, and then we also have to layer in our personalities, which me reading, I'm gonna be doing a fast 7 read. So when it came to
Mhm.
typing the 2 detectives, I was like, "I don't know them very well. I'm just gonna guess these 2 types." And I was right about one of them, but it was like I hadn't put in the work of really investigating their personalities.
Right, right.
So I was like but the other ones, I was so excited to type. So I'm grateful for that experience, and that's what I'm really pulling for our listeners too, is like, this is a fun experience if you're looking for something to really just intrigue you and allow you some mental space to be creative and thoughtful. So I also don't know if this was intentional, but something I enjoy with writers is when there's a depth to the villain, and I felt that when we write our mystery dinner games, we just try to similarly make the person who died when I say the villain, I also wanna say you already said the villainous kind of father, that's who I'm talking about,
Mhm.
and we
Yeah.
often wanna make that person kind of, something about them that, we don't want the readers to be too upset that they're gone.
Yes, that they're
Um
dead, yes.
yeah, but I also noticed the depths in yours, like, you gave it more like, I saw, like, little things where I was like, "Well, the kids are getting the inheritance and he's being manipulative, but they also do have a lavish life, and he provided that for them."
Mhm.
So there was
That's
moments that I
true.
thought you did a really good job of redeeming him just a bit.
Just a bit, yes. He
Just a bit.
wasn't. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think that's true of the humanity, really.
Mm,
Nobody is
yeah,
purely evil, and I think that's what makes it kind of tricky to
yeah.
navigate life because everybody's you can make a case for everybody. "Oh, that gave away my type."
It really
And
did.
that
I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, "Good." Like, I want people to get it right because I think that's fun and satisfying. But if you don't get it right, don't feel bad. We love you
I
still. I
don't
didn't
feel
get
bad,
all
that's
hers
true.
right.
Nobody
Um,
has yet.
yeah, so just have fun with us too on our contests. But I guess I just wanted to ask you that too, just about like your writing process. Like, how did you like some of our listeners are like, how do I focus on a big project? How do I finish something that's hard? Did you take it in pieces? Did you have support? Tell us how you accomplished this.
I just for me, it came down to the routine of it. So, I only write when my kids are in school, so coming up on summer here where I'm not gonna be doing any writing, but
Yeah.
when they're in school, I just sit at my computer from 9 to 1 every day, and I write, and if you do that, you will have a book. But, I'm lucky and I'm able to do that, and, I sacrifice a lot of,
Mhm.
house chores and, not everything always gets done like it would be in
Mhm.
certain types people's house, the
Yeah.
perfectionist maybe would have a cleaner house,
Mhm.
but I'm able to let go of some of that stuff because
Mm.
I'm focusing on the bigger picture of the book,
Yeah.
and luckily my husband is on board with that too up to a point.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but,
See, yeah, sometimes our spouses have to be like, "Okay, but let's pull in for some order at some
yeah,
point," and we have to do that to each
let's
other, so
regroup.
yeah, we're both
Yes,
creative
exactly.
types, and when you have that, you're like, yeah,
Mhm.
somebody has to, like, do the dishes or something, you know?
Somebody has to do the dishes. So yeah, I do try and I try to make that part of my routine too, is like from when I drop the kids off, then I do a quick workout and, do a little bit of chores, start some laundry, and then write from and try to move the laundry along,
Yeah.
throughout the day when I get up and stretch my legs. But that is for me, the way to write a book is to find, and if it's not 4 hours a day, if it's 1 hour, a day, when my kids were little, they'd go to preschool twice a week. And I was just getting into writing then and wrote another novel that has not seen the light of day, but
Yeah.
it was good practice for me, but I would write every Tuesday from 9 to 12, and that
Right.
was all I had. And so,
Wow.
you can write a book with whatever margin you have. You just have to sit down and make that a priority and then do it. I'm going to sit in the chair
Yeah.
these 2 hours twice a week. And if you do it, you'll make progress. And if you don't, you won't.
Yeah, and that's a good, very practical way to say it. Like, it's possible, and if it's meant to be, it will find its way if you continue that routine and how important
Mhm.
are routines to your personality type and all types.
Yes.
So I'm grateful. And as you said, each type might do that a bit differently.
Yes.
Were there any topics that you felt like you were passionate about that went into this book, or was it just pure fun this time?
Well, there are things that I'm passionate about. One thing that am passionate about is ice cream. I worked in ice cream in high school and college, and, there's a layer of that in the book. One of the characters owns an ice cream shop, and, I kinda made up some flavors, which I had so much fun making up
Oh.
some of the flavors.
Oh.
Um, Now I wanna, like, have them in real life. I
Tell
guess
us a
you know.
couple of them because honestly, my mouth was watering while reading, and I am not even a big ice cream person, and I was like, "I want that flavor so bad. Is that real?"
Is that real? Where can I get it? I know. I'm thinking about trying to make some of them just, like, from scratch this summer with my little, Cuisinart ice cream maker. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, that's something that I'm passionate about, but, I don't know that there were too many other things. I tried to find fun things like, the cars they drove. I tried to make that, like, point to their Enneagram number or, like, certain just different
Oh,
things. Um, they don't Somebody pointed out to me, they're like, "Oh, you know," 'cause we were doing the launch party and they were like, "Oh, we should have whatever kind of alcohol they had in the book," and I was like, "There's no alcohol." There's not
yeah.
really any alcohol in the book because 'cause I'm not, like, a big drinker, so it was just like, "Oh," so yeah, you can it's kind of funny how, like, you end up kind of in the book without really realizing.
Funny. Wow, that is neat because I was like, there was quite a bit to do with ice cream in a
Yeah.
fun way. Like, you can weave in whatever your topics are, and,
Mhm.
what was one of the flavors that you wanna make maybe this summer?
Well, I did work at Marble Slab, so we did kind of then you can make your own flavor by, like, mixing it together.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but so some of them I like the Scarlet's red raspberries based on raspberries with, chocolate chips. But
Mm.
fresh raspberries, not frozen raspberries, which then they're
Oh.
hard and, but fresh raspberries aren't hard and frozen. So
Mm.
that was one that I used to make at Marble Slab and it was delicious. And I think I had a chocolate drenched strawberry, so chocolate with strawberries in it, which would taste like, dipped strawberries, but with ice cream. One of
Oh,
the ones I thought would be really good was the Coke flavored. And
yeah.
I have a sweet tea flavored one too, which I thought, it's kind of like a coffee ice cream. I don't know why nobody's ever made a tea ice cream.
That
So
is
that one I'd like to try.
I
All
would
of them.
too. Oh my gosh, and I know being in the South with you that, like, everybody like, I just was at a friend's party yesterday and I brought a sweet tea because of course that's what you bring when you're in the South, so how fun that you're, like, making an ice cream flavor to go with this, and every one of the
Yeah.
flavors, I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, they're bringing ice cream and Varsity and Chick-fil-A, and like,
I
"Oh,
know,
no."
it's like not it's not good. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's so good and so, like, clean even though it's a murder mystery, so I hope our listeners will enjoy it as much as I did. I truly think they will if they're readers. Tell us where they can find you and the book so they can follow along with you. I know you have a couple of spots I've been finding you in.
Yeah, well, the book is on Amazon.com, 9 Ways to Die, and also barnesandnoble.com,
Mm.
and wherever you get books really, and you have a website, which is just katehallock.com, but also, on Instagram, I'm at Kate Hallock Writes,
Okay.
and those are the 2 main ones that I keep up with.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I
Yeah.
saw somebody in the Enneagram world putting you on their book club page too, which I loved.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
the Enneagram Book Club, y'all should join. That's what it's called,
Yeah.
Enneagram Book Club, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the book of the month for May.
Oh,
So, yeah, that's really fun.
yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been so much fun.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, our listeners know to go to our show notes and to follow you and my
Mhm.
account as well for a chance to win our game in your book.
That's
And you
right.
guys tell us what you think, who you think her and her hubby are. So, Kate and Adam, we want you to guess their types. You've got to hear her talk
Mhm.
about herself today, but also just go get her book. It's a great summer read, or anytime if you're listening even later. I'm just so grateful to you, Kate, for writing it
Oh,
and for
thank
sharing with us
you.
today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon, I hope.
Okay, good.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Make sure you head over to enneagramandmarriage.com if you need anything Enneagram wise, but head over to Kate's website. Everything is in the show notes. Make sure you head over to the Instagrams for the contest entries. We are just so grateful for you, and I hope you have such a wonderful day. Stay here, or rather, come back, right? For our big announcement for next week. Cannot wait to share with you. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.